Hello everyone, welcome back to another Total War Warhammer multiplayer battle. This is going to be the Skaven versus the Empire, which doesn't believe the army that they're facing because, of course, giant rats don't exist, right? For my army, it's a very basic army here, at least in the terms of the front line. We have 5 basic clan rats, not even with the shields, just very cheap fodder because most of our damage lies within 3 of these rat ogres. And I brought 2 Hell Pit Abominations, anti-large armor piercers, okay armor, they have regeneration, and they also have fear and terror, but then they have the too horrible to die, so there is a chance that when their hit points are below 10% that they will just go up in health again. I think up to around 50% of their hit points, I think. So it's a nice big heal that the Hell Pit Abominations can have to have them last a little bit longer. Their stats are okay, but they're pretty good at anti-large. So I brought 2 of them, because I was like, why not? Let's bring 2 of them. For a caster, I have the Plague Priest with the Pestilent Breath, the Bless with Filth, which is the AoE Poison Imbue spell, and then the Vermintide, which is, the summon more rats. And then for the leader, I took a Warlord on the Rat Ogre, because I just like the Warlord with the Rat Ogre. Now, unfortunately, I didn't take everything on him, because I needed to make a lot of room to have 2 Hell Pit Abominations in this fight, so the only really ability I took with him is the Shield of Distraction, which is going to lower melee attack of units around him. I did not take anything else on the Warlord of the Rat Ogre. Kind of went cheap on the leadership here because we're put a lot of money in these Hell Pit Abominations. Sometimes I'll throw 2 of these guys in, why not? Because I don't think people really expect to fight 2 Hell Pits at the same time. But we are also still rats, so that means we are very sneaky. And since we are very sneaky, we have 3 Gutter Runners with Poison that were Vanguard deployed and are going to be approaching the Imperial Army from the back. Speaking of the Imperial Army, they have a front line of 3 swordsmen, 1 additional swordsman in the back. Their midline is made up of 3 flagellants, right there, and there. Which, I think flagellants are pretty good. They will hold forever because they are unbreakable, and they do enough damage to a lot of the Skaven infantry. They'll probably get hit a lot too, so they will die in return, but still, I think it's a solid pick there. Then in the back line, we have 3 crossbows, which can do really good against Skaven because a lot of the units are not armored. Like, Rat Ogres have, what, a 50? 30, sorry, they have a 30. The Hell Pit Abominations have 50, yes. So basically everything I have here is really low armored, so crossbows can really focus fire down everything I brought except for maybe the Warlord, but even that's only 70 armor, so even them, they can. The only ones that can withstand crossbow fire for the most part is going to be their vermin, oh my god, what's their names? Their elite troops. Storm Vermin. God, I can't believe it took me so long. I'm just sort of like, what's the name? But anyway, I think in summary, friends, the English language is a language that I think I speak. They brought 3 crossbows that are kind of effective against most of the Skaven units. For the leadership, we have good old Curl Franz on a horse doing a lot of armor piercing damage, has really decent stats, except for the melee defense is not the best, but their melee attack is pretty good. 120 armor, and they also have Foe Seeker, and then they have the Hold the Line, which increases leadership and melee defense to units around them, as well as Stand Your Ground. And then we also have a Witch Hunter with Final Accusation and Slippery. Can have the potential to do a lot of damage on the range if they are not blocked by line of sight issues. I really wish they gave the Witch Hunter a horse, but maybe they think it would be too OP to have this guy on a horse. Maybe they're right, I don't know. But anyway, they do magical damage, and they kind of suck in melee. You really want these guys just firing and blasting off accusation whenever they can. And then they also brought a caster with the Bright Wizard, where they currently have a fireball that's going the distance and is actually like threading the needle through all of these trees, and is going to hit my Hell Pit Abomination, which... Side note, the Hell Pit Abominations have regeneration, so they also have flame weakness. So they take bonus damage versus any fire spells or anyone that has fire attacks, like the Bright Wizard. So anyway, we got a Bright Wizard there with the Fireball, the Flaming Skull, and the Piercing Bolts. We also have a group of Empire Knights, which are a very nice, cheap unit to take against the Skaven. They can do really well on the charge, especially rear charging Skaven infantry, as long as it's not basically Storm Vermin. They are very, I think, solid choice here. And, oh yes, how could I forget? The Great Cannons. We have the Hammer of the Witches, which is a very... high damaging, pretty accurate cannon, and then also a normal great cannon over here, which doesn't do as much damage, but is still pretty effective at taking down large targets, and especially cav if they hit, because like their balls will just pierce through multiple cav units, and it's very bad for cav to get hit by these guys. And it's also bad for my Hell Pit Abominations to get hit by these, so I'm going to be kind of keeping my Hell Pit Abominations in the forest, hoping that the trees will block some of their shots. And then way over here, we have some Knights of the Blazing Sun who are going to be going around like this. They're going to take the long way around. I'm guessing that they may be looking for deployed rats over here in the forest, which is why they're over here. But the thing is, these Knights of the Blazing Sun, they do have flaming attacks, so especially on the charge, they could potentially do a lot of damage to our Hellpit Abominations, who are relatively lower armored, and they take bonus versus fire damage. So that is a big threat that we're going to know of here relatively soon. So let's press play. So right now, I was going to do a straight-up charge into the Imperial lines, but seeing that these Hell Cannons, seeing that these Great Cannons are online and firing at Hellpit Abominations, I decided to kind of hold off a little bit. I stalled my attack just a slight amount, and I shifted my lines so that they would be better lined up to take out the Imperials, and also to buy time for our 3 Gutter Runners with Poison to go sneaky all over these Great Cannons. So they are going to be able to start throwing at the Great Cannons without really any resistance whatsoever. So that's going to be a really good win there for us. You're going to see that the crossbows is going to unleash their volleys here into the clan rats. They're going to take a lot of damage because they are not the shielded clan rats. I was not expecting the crossbows, which maybe I guess I should since we are playing Skaven. And so yeah, we're just going to get kind of destroyed here with the clan rats pretty brutally. But the enemy is not going to charge their swordsmen, so at least we deny them to charge bonus. So we're going to charge into them. We're going to charge in, and we're going to keep our Hellpit Abominations relatively close together because I want to keep them close so that we can maybe have them support each other in case anything bad happens. There's going to be a Flaming Skull dropping over here, dropping a Festival Breath from our Plague Priest is going to be going up the middle. The Warlord is going to be going after the Witch Hunter here pretty soon-ish. We have a group of Rat Ogres that have pierced the front lines, and I'm trying to get into the crossbows, so I'm trying to get all of our Rat Ogres and our Hellpit Abominations onto the crossbows. Meanwhile, back here, our Gutter Runners just destroyed these Great Cannons who were not protected by anything, which is great. And now these two are going to be focusing on the Bright Wizard, just chunking him down very quickly. Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to be coming around here. Flagellants have helped to break some of the clan rats. They're going to be getting into these clan rats, and they're going to, I think, win this battle there. Going to get a nice recharge here with the Empire Knights into the back of these clan rats, which have been supported by the Hellpit Abominations and the Warlord. So this line has held pretty well. Again, the Warlord is on the Witch Hunter. The Witch Hunter is really bad in melee when it comes to fighting units like a Warlord or any kind of melee hero or Lord. So yeah, he's just getting chunked down by this Warlord, doing massive amount of damage to him on his rat over there. Plague Priest is going to be summoning some more rats here pretty soon in this area. Besides that, they're going to be doing Blessing with Filth, which I think is what's going on right there. So all of our units now have poison damage, so it's throwing the stats of everybody that they attack. The Bright Wizard was forced to retreat into the forest because it almost died to the fire from the Gutter Runners. The Knights of the Blazing Sun are still on their way to try and come to us. We're going to be able to dodge the spell, although I think it was actually cast away from us, but they're trying to snipe our Hellpit Abominations, which are stacked together. You can see that we have taken a little bit of damage on one Hellpit Abomination from crossbow fire, but for the most part, they are still okay and they will regenerate. This Flagellant did go through one of our clan rats, and now the Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to be charging into the Hellpit Abominations. And again, we're going to take a lot of damage from them. You can see them already, like our hit points, just dropping on this Hellpit Abomination. So we're going to throw in some Rat Ogres to assist them in bringing down the Knights of the Blazing Sun, because this is a very big threat. We managed to rout off the Witch Hunter off into the forest. I'm going to stick our Warlord into this group with the Hellpit Abominations, because this group is very dangerous, but we need to make sure it stays alive for as long as possible. So we need to keep supporting it. And you can see these Knights of the Blazing Sun are just really giving hell to this one Hellpit Abomination. It's really bad. But luckily we are going to overwhelm them with just more armor-piercing damage than they can withstand. Meanwhile, over here, Karl Franz is trying to hold this flank against these Rat Ogres, doing a lot of good damage to them, but we're now going to be able to throw our Hellpit Abominations and the Warlord into this area now that we have dealt with the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Our Gutter Runners are now getting hit by some crossbowmen who came back from routing. I think I'm just going to run them away and focus on this crossbow unit instead, because it is temporarily routing, but it isn't shattered yet, so we want to try and make sure it shatters. This unit of the Hammer of the Witches is going to come back from routing, get back on the cannons, but I think we're going to start throwing our shurikens into the Hammer of the Witches once again. The Blade, or the Flame Wizard, Bright Wizard, is going to cast another bolts here, but our animation, our attack animations kind of carried us out of it, and I'm going to try and start to move away from it as well. It's a really good spell, I think. It's pretty cheap, and it does do decent damage to single targets, which, we had 2 Hell Pits and a Warlord in here, and Rat Ogre, so it could, in theory, do really well if it actually hits center target, but it did not, unfortunately. And now we're just on Karl Franz, who has no troops left, because our Clan Rats, our Abominations, our Rat Ogres, the spells from the Plague Priest, the summons, like, everything is just doing so much damage to these poor swordsmen, they could not hold on forever. And now we have shattered Karl Franz. The Witch Hunter is shattered. The Bright Wizard, I think, is now shattered. And now all that's left is going to be these 2 Flagellants. Are there 3 Flagellants? I think it's just 2 left now at this point. One almost dead. The other one still has some decent amount of hit points. But these are not going to be able to win the day for the Empire. So the Empire did initially some good damage to our clan rats, but the clan rats are the expendable unit, and they just didn't leave anything in the back to protect those Hammer of the Witches. And against the Skaven army, gutter runners are so good. They're like chameleon skinks for the lizardmen. You just have to assume that your enemy is going to bring at least one. So leaving your artillery out by itself with no one even nearby, like, you should probably at least keep those Empire Knights back there, because the Empire Knights can fast redeploy to the front line if needed, or just leave a swords. Well, I mean, swordsmen aren't going to kill gutter runners either. Maybe leave a crossbow unit back there too. I don't know. Leave something back there so that I can't just destroy the cannons within mere seconds. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. They lost a lot of their damage when I flanked their great cannons. But again, you just gotta assume that the gutter runners are going to be there, because they're so good for this game. I mean, look at these kills that they got. And for the most part, they got all those, I think, with shurikens. They went in melee a little bit, I think, against crossbows, like in the mid-fight there, to help rout them off. But yeah, like the damage they did to that Bright Wizard, 2 of these guys throwing into the Bright Wizard within, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds, the Bright Wizard was almost dead and was forced to run away. So you gotta really respect the gutter runners with poison. Without poison. Just respect the gutter runners. The Warlord did a lot of good concentrated damage on the Witch Hunter. I think he basically just 1v1 the Witch Hunter and got him out of there, because again, the Witch Hunter is not a good duelist at all. They can hold their own against infantry, not elite infantry really, but like cheap clan rats and stuff. They can hold their own for a little bit, but their main damage is their gun. And that's the thing, you got to line them up to see, or to have like line of sight, because they get blocked all the time. They get blocked all the time. It's very annoying. But they still have the Accuse ability, which is really good single target damage. But it's hard to utilize their guns in a lot of cases because of line of sight issues. That's why I really want them to have a horse. I mean, you can also give them a Pegasus, but like, I mean, that may be really OP to have an armor piercer lord or hero like that on a Pegasus just flying around. That would be a little crazy. But you know, maybe a horse, just a light horse, not an armored horse, just something. Give them a little love there. Anyway, the Hellpit Abominations did really well. The Rat Ogres pierced the front lines, got into the crossbows, and yeah, the double Hellpit Abomination did a lot of work in this fight. They just didn't have enough focus fire to bring it down because we got into the crossbows so quickly. If I didn't get into the crossbows and the great cannons, it could have been a different story. But in any case, I've rabbled on long enough. Let us go watch the cinematic view. That fireball just refused to hit the trees. I was like, no way it's gonna actually hit me with all these trees in the way. Yeah. Turns out it can. The life of a clan rat. Not a long one. The life of the cannon crew. Also, not a long one. Shurikens go! Ninja rats! Yeah, and these Empire Knights, it was a nice rear charge, but then, you know, there's also a Hellpit Abomination right there, so... And then there's the second one. They didn't last too long there. I think the Witch Hunter's already routing them. Poor guy. The Empire Knights can be really durable if they were just fighting the Clan Rats, but double health hits, not a good time for them. I guess this point is when it's just the poor flatulence. They're like, okay, I guess we'll handle this. Because we're crazy. Good little bells. Hey, they got up to my Plague Priest. Run, Plague Priest! There we go, friends. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed some more Skaven, some more rat things. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.